Hi, hello everybody. Welcome back to our THE student webinar. Today we are thankful to have you with us. Thank you for joining. We have the wonderful Academy of Arts University in San Francisco here to give you a massive load of information of why you should join them and how you can apply to this prestigious university. I'm going to pass you over to Sue, who is your host for today.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good morning where I am. I don't know where you are in the world exactly, but I think most of you it's evening. Welcome to the Academy of Art University. I'm pleased that you've decided to check us out, see if we're a good fit for you. My name is Sue Raleigh, as Savrila said, and I'm the Executive Vice President at the Academy of Art University. And I also have an associate who's going to be helping me with the slides, and that's Kathleen. So you're going to hear me ask her to change the slides. So the Academy of Art University, as you can see on this slide, has been in San Francisco since 1929. It's been around a long time. And the thing that really I'm going to be talking about, and I want you to focus on, is that we really are about artists and designers getting jobs. I know everybody's heard about the starving artist. That's a myth, I think, that all artists are poor and can't pay their rent. But that's not true if you attend the Academy of Art University. So I want you to remember that, if nothing else. Kathleen, let's go to the first slide. So this is a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. You've probably all seen that picture. We do have fog. We have Seven Hills. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Next slide. We do have cable cars. That's one right there. We have a beautiful bay. We have a lot of hills. So when you come to San Francisco, you're going to want to bring good shoes to walk in. You're going to be going up and down a lot of hills, but people love it. And it's really a city that's focused on the visual arts and I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, can you imagine going to school and seeing that view every day? Next slide. So as I said before, the Academy of Art was started in 1929 by an artist who learned to paint and draw in Paris, France. He said, well, I can learn to do this. I can teach others to do it. And that's how we got started. The Academy of Art is not only in a beautiful location geographically, but as you can see from this picture, you're going to be in the heart of San Francisco with lots of studios and businesses all around you. All of these are art and design businesses, whether it's game design, graphic design, photography, animation, it's all here. And you will be taught by pros who are working in these companies currently. That's really a wonderful thing for you because that means that you're going to be able to network with professionals while you're attending school. Next slide. So we have a lot of different accreditations, not that you really care about that, but just so you know, we are accredited with regional accreditation, which is WASC. It covers all our online and on-campus degree programs. We have NASAD, which is our national accreditation in the United States. Again, it covers all our online and on-campus degree programs. And then we have a couple professional accreditations. CETA for interior architecture and design, if you're interested in that, or NAB if you're interested in architecture. And then for some people who would like to get their teacher credential, we also are accredited by the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. Next slide. We also have many undergraduate and graduate degrees. We have, this says 22 schools. I think that may have changed. We may have 24 now, but we do have 122 accredited degree programs. That means when you come to the Academy of Art, you're going to have opportunity to take classes in all different majors. We will tailor make your curriculum so that you're taking the classes you need to be successful in the work world. Next slide. We also have STEM. And what is STEM? Well, that means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, we have 15 STEM degree programs. Animation is one, advertising, architecture, art education, industrial design, UI, UX, interior architecture and design. You may say to me, well, that doesn't sound like science, technology, engineering. Well, the key is technology. In all of these areas, you're going to be learning computer programs so that you can take your ideas from the paper to the computer. And that's how we've been able to get these degrees STEM approved. So what does that mean? That means that when you get out of school, you will be able to work in the United States with your F1 visa for 3 years. Next slide. Now, I'd like to talk about some of the more popular majors. Architecture is one. How do you know if you want to be an architect? We have the B-Arch and M-Arch degrees. But what that means is if you like to design buildings, if the thought of creating a community is exciting to you, this is the major for you. Next slide. We have fashion design. You all know what fashion design is. That's where you are creating your own clothing. But we also have textiles. So when you look at these pictures, those textiles have been printed by the students who created their designs. That's something some schools don't do. We also have accessories, we have footwear. So whether you want to work for maybe a ready-to-wear brand, or you want to do some couture work, we can help you get there. Next slide. Jewelry and metal arts. Some of you may be interested in that. We have it as a standalone major at the academy of our university. Sometimes jewelry and metal arts is considered part of fashion design, but at the academy, we have you working on this exclusively. So if you want to work, you want to do necklaces, you want to do earrings, rings, any kind of jewelry, accessory, or maybe you want to go bigger. Maybe you want to do, I don't know, gates for a villa somewhere in the south of France. If you want to do those kinds of things, we can help you in the jewelry and metal arts program. Next slide. Photography. We all take pictures, don't we? We all have cameras on our phones and we are taking pictures, especially of ourselves, seems like. But in photography, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to do photos that are not only beautiful, but tell a story. And we are going to teach you how to work for companies who really want to have a beautiful image that's memorable to advertise. So this is called commercial photography. And we also have fine art photography. But this, I mean, look at these pictures. This is sugar, obviously. Beautiful, beautiful images. Next slide. Advertising is that fast moving, innovative major where you're selling products. Basically, that's what you're doing. And whether it's on the computer, on television, if anybody listens to live streaming, you'll see ads everywhere. Or what? I mean, even on Facebook or Meta, I guess they call it now. You'll see advertising. This picture was done by an international student. She isn't selling anything. She's trying to make a point. And the point she's making is she's concerned about the plastics in the ocean. So she's taken an iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is above the water, and below you see that the base of the iceberg is all plastic. I think that gets its point across. We've got too much plastics in the ocean. Next slide. So here we have game development. If you like to play games, if you want to create the game that you think everyone will want to play, this is the major for you. We also have coding if you want to do programming. So if maybe you want to work for a group like Nintendo or Blizzard, you want to build worlds, you want to create characters, we've got you covered here. Next slide. Part of what happens for students is they realize that they need characters in whether it's a game or whether it's a feature film or an animation. And so this is actually called visual development. And what you're seeing here are two characters that a student has made up. These characters have personalities. They have styles in terms of the kind of clothing they wear, probably even the way they walk. That's what you do in visual development. You are actually creating worlds. And this is part of animation. Next slide. You also are creating environments, not just characters. In this case, you can see the slide to your left is kind of a foreboding, eerie, scary environment. And then over on the right, you see two characters, very different than the ones we just looked at. But again, you can almost get a sense of who these people are and what their personalities would be like. This is, again, part of animation. This is called visual development or traditional animation. And you would do kind of cartoon-like films, shorts in this major. Next slide. But maybe you want to do something more polished. Maybe you want to do something on the 3D in the 3D world. Animation and visual effects. We offer that as well. And many of you have seen films that are animation and visual effects. I could start listing them off. But the thing that to realize is these are feature length films, and it's a very specialized niche. And what you're going to do here is you want to work with pros who are in the field because these jobs are very competitive. And I want to proud to say that we have people from Pixar, you all know Pixar, Disney, who are teaching at the school. Next slide. And I wanted to include this slide just because we're talking a lot about the computer and we're talking about the creation of worlds, but where does that come from? It comes from your mind. It comes from your inner self. And before you get on the computer, you have to be able to sketch it out. In this case, this is a watercolor, but it's from a scene in a film that was actually produced. So you still need to learn how to draw, and we'll teach you how to do that. Next slide. This is industrial design. Industrial design is basically taking technology and design, combining them, and creating products that make it better for the human. You can see here we've got a fancy bus. It's called Globetrotter. Could be a train too, I guess, but that looks like a bus. And we've got a tennis shoe. Got all kinds of anything that take design and technology and make it visually pleasing and comfortable for the human. That's what we do in industrial design. But maybe you want to work on something very specific, a product like a car. So next slide. There it is. The head of the industrial design department, Tom Matano, is a well-known designer, car designer. He's worked at Mercedes, he's worked at Mazda, he's worked at a lot of the car companies. Everybody knows him. And this is what we do at the Academy. If you have a director like Tom Matano and you impress him as someone who works hard and does good work, he's going to recommend you to one of these car companies, and they'll probably hire you just because they trust Tom and they know Tom and they respect Tom. Next slide. Graphic design, well, that's a visual communication. That's the only way I know how to say it's about taking a small amount of space like these labels, and then you create a label, a logo, you use colors, you use images. graphic designers have a big job. They have to get your attention they're competing with a lot of different products. So if it's in a grocery store, you walk in, you look at the jam, for example, in this case, you think, wonder what kind I want. And then you see a really beautiful label that you think, boy, that looks good. That's the one I want. That's what the graphic designer does. So it is visual communication, and it's very technical, whether you're working on the type or the logo or the whole label, like in this case with Sun Goods. Next slide. Illustration is very popular at the Academy of Art. We've gotten all kinds of awards for illustration. Illustration, you take the pencils, you take pens, you take paints, you take the computer, and you create everything from children's book illustrations to editorial or comic books. Next slide. And what you're doing is you're communicating a story, and you work with clients, real clients, art directors, because again, they've got a script, they've got a story, and they want you to do the images, the illustrations. A lot of drawing in illustration. Next slide. Fine art painting, we all know what that is. We go to galleries, we look at beautiful work. These are actually paintings students have done. These aren't photos. So you can see it's very realistic, but we have a wide range of painting majors, not majors, but minors. So if you don't want to do realistic, you can branch out and do more abstract stuff. But I think these images are beautiful. You probably agree with me. It's amazing that students can actually take paint and a brush and create something that looks like this. Amazing. Next slide. And if you like sculpture, we do figurative work and we do more stylized work, like these images. You can do large or small, and we have ceramics as well as bronze casting. So if you want to get your hands dirty in that clay, or you want to chop away at a piece of stone, here it is, fine art sculpture. So next slide. Interior architecture and design is also a very popular major. In interiors, we're creating environments that people want to be in. You can see this is a rooftop restaurant, it looks like. It's under some kind of a bubble. And then we've got seating on the outside as well. So you can go into the bar, you can sit outside at the tables. It's just about creating environments that people go, oh, it feels so good being here, or they're attracted to it visually. Next slide. But it doesn't have to be a rooftop. It can be just an interior of a house. Now, I like this slide because I think it really illustrates my point. Here we have a room. We have a staircase going from one level to the next. Very practical. We all use staircases. We know what stairs are all about. But in this case, the interior designer has felt like, hey, that's wasted space. We could make it beautiful and make it add to the room rather than just be something that we needed in the room to get from one level to the next. So they created images along the side of the staircase, put lighting, carpet, put wood stairs in, not just metal stairs or vinyl stairs. Beautiful, beautiful. That's what you learn to do in interior architecture and design. Next slide. So every year we have a spring show. We showcase the best student work at the school. And then we invite employers to come and look. As you can see, it's mobbed. And not only do the employers come, but later on, the public comes just to see the artwork and see these fresh new design that students have created. The big thing that's important for you is back to that job issue. These people hire on the spot. If you can't be in San Francisco, if you're going to take online classes, for example, it's impossible for for you to get to San Francisco for the show, we will still showcase your work online. And what's happening, I think this is really great for international students, is employers are hiring from all over the world because of things like this, Zoom. They can, if you know how to use this platform, Zoom or others like it, if you understand how to work with people in different time zones, if you understand what it's like to work with people from different cultures and you do excellent work, I can guarantee you, you're going to have more than one job offer. Next slide. We get a lot of people ask me a lot about rankings. How are you ranked? Well, we're art and design, so we don't have the same kind of rankings that you might have for a university that was academic, strictly academic. We don't have a huge library. We have a library and it's on site and online. But we are ranked by these different international contests and judges as very high up, number one in these cases. And you can see best concept in art and illustrations. We're number one in 19, 20, and 21. We computer graphics 2022 Gizmodo. Anyway, you can see what I'm talking about. We don't just say we're good. We get rankings that from people outside of the school all over the world that say, yes, you're top of the line. Next slide. So when you come to the academy, again, back to the job issue, we're going to make sure you meet people from all different companies. I showed you that slide when we started out that showed all the companies that are around the academy. But we also you're going to do projects. So for example, you might be in a UX UI course, a computer course, and you're going to work with a company like Adobe. Adobe's going to come in and say, we're working on this certain project and we have this problem. Can you solve it for us? Let's see what you can do. So you'll be working on teams within your class, working with these companies. So that's what I mean about real world collaborative projects with the industry while you're in school. You can see at the Apple logo is up there. Apple has us working on a project right now. Some of our students are very involved with Apple on a new product they want to put out. But we have Old Navy, which is a fashion design. We have GoPro, which people from photography are all involved with. We even have NASA. I don't know if it's up here, but the National Space Association for the United States has worked with the students in industrial design on some of the products they need in the space station. So sky's the limit, and these networking opportunities often lead to employment. Next slide. And these are some of the places people work. Pixar, Pandora, if you're into the music side of things. Jaguar, there's Jaguar, a car, industrial designs there. Animation, Sony Pictures. All of these companies and more are hiring our students because the students leave the school with a competitive portfolio. And that's extremely important, not just a transcript that says you got these grades. They have a portfolio showing their work, and we will work with you so that when you do graduate and you start to interview for jobs, you know how to handle the interview. You've got a top-notch resume. Your portfolio is slick and cool, and you've got that director who has made it in the world that you want to work in. That director will make a recommendation as well. So chances are you're going to be hired. Next slide. These are some of our faculty. This is just a handful, but there's Tom Matano. I've talked about him repeatedly. He's the guy that did the Miata for Mazda, and he's known all over the world. Catherine Tate worked for Lucas Industrial Light and Magic. She worked on the Star Wars films. We got David Goodwine down there. He's done games for Electronic Arts. Jana Memel, we just saw the Academy Awards. Jana Memel has not one, not two, but 3 Oscars. So these are just a sample of the people that we have at the Academy who are going to be mentoring you and helping you get that job that you've always dreamed of. Next slide. So I know that English for some of you may be difficult. Maybe you can speak okay, but maybe your reading and writing is not so great, or maybe you don't need any help at all. But if you do, and you want, and we can support your English language skills while you're taking classes. We have something we've developed within the university. It's called English for Art Purposes, and it's available to on-campus and online students. Next slide. We also have a lot of clubs so that you can meet your fellow people, whether you're a jewelry maker or you're in the anime club, or maybe Beyond the Front Row, which is fashion club, or the fine arts club, whatever it is. Tea Time, I think, is another animation club. I think right now there's like over 20 different clubs online and on site. So you can collaborate with your fellow students, make friends, and have a good time. Next slide. We also have housing. Sometimes when you move to a new country, a new city, it can be difficult figuring out where you should live. If you live too far away, it's expensive to get back and forth to school. If you live in the wrong part of town, it can be dangerous. So we have dorms, we have housing. These don't look like your typical dorms, do they? Some of these are converted hotels, apartment buildings, mansions, and you can get a private bath if you want. Meal plans are available. So the reason I bring this up is really, if you say, yes, I want to do this thing, I want to go to San Francisco, we have admissions specialists who will help you not only get into the major, but also help you figure out where you should live. So when you get here, all you have to do is unpack your clothes and go to class. That's simple. And we have a shuttle bus, as you can see in the one picture, buses that will take you back and forth from your housing to your classroom. What could be better than that? Of course, some of you may want to walk because these buildings are close to where you'll be going to school. But on those days when you don't want to walk, or if it's raining, which it does sometimes in California, I think you'll appreciate the shuttle bus. Next slide. So how much does this all cost? Well, it costs about $35,000 per academic year. This does not include your housing. So I think it's reasonable with everything you're going to be offered. It's your application fees, your student activity fees, your health insurance, and your estimated course and material fees. That's it. 2 semesters, $35,000. Meet the pros, get mentored by directors who have been very successful in their field, and be in San Francisco, or do online. We've had our online classes since 2000, not just recently. We've created our own online classes. And like I said to you earlier, these classes are not only are they supported, but they are recommended by our accreditors, which are the people who come and make sure we do what we say we do. So next slide. So now I want to show you some of the work that I've been talking about. This is some just a kind of a compilation of student work. I hope you enjoy it. Next slide. So I hope you can see the value, this recipe for success that we have at the Academy of Art University. That's all student work, by the way, that you were just looking at. We like to say, defy the ordinary, create the extraordinary. But I think when you come to the Academy of Art, when you get involved in our classes, whether it's online or on site, you're going to feel like you've come home. This is your people. And they're people from all over the world. We have over 50 countries represented. So you won't be alone in being from another culture or another location. And I wonder, but you don't have to just take my word for it. I want you to hear we have another short video. This is students who are currently at the school. We asked them, how did you feel about coming to the Academy? Has it met your expectations? So Kathleen, how about that next video?
I was looking for the best photography programs that I could find, and this popped up, and I loved how many facilities this campus had.
Well, early on, I was able to work on actual project that normally you would not be able to work on until you finish school and you start working in the studio.
I worked in an ad agency back home for 3 years. I was like, hey, I want an opportunity in America, and San Francisco is the creative hub, right? So I wanted to come here.
It's a great opportunity for people with or without background to come here and be in the environment and learn from professionals.
You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to know anything about it, but you can learn it from it.
I'm doing Masters in UI UX design. Previously, I did my bachelor's in interior designing, and I had no experience for UI UX. This is like a new thing for me. I'm having really new experiences, and I can say all the experiences are positive.
The facilities and the professors at Academy of Art are some of the best I've had. You're working with people who've won Oscars, people who've worked years in the industry and know it in and out, and they're there to support you to get into whichever field you want.
All the teacher I had, I really enjoy them. I received a really useful advice.
We love presenting our work that we worked so hard for the past 14 weeks. Every team member pulled through, and then we created this cohesive, holistic approach. It's also a great opportunity to see how real work environment works, especially with different environments, different designers coming in from different departments.
It's an amazing way to get experience before you go to the world.
The Academy of Art's like a really good opportunity to meet new people and to create films and to go after your dreams living in a really cool city.
Everyone cares about us as students, and they are opening a lot of opportunities for us.
The Academy allows us to express our potential as artists, and they bring that out of us.
I love people here. I love that it's international place where you can find people from China, from America, from other countries, and you can have this mix of ideas.
My love for advertising is increasing since I've got here, and just the people I meet, different minds from different cultures, and you realize that you're a tiny part of the world, and that's exciting.
I am one of those person that looking for different things. Whenever I'm searching about the new things to try, I find out that oh my god, we do have that tool in the school, so it's really cool. If you look for the professional ideas in the design area, definitely it's a better place to go.
It's one of the best art universities here in America.
Typography, advertising, UX design, I will recommend any design students.
I would recommend the Academy to innovate, especially in my career fields. I don't think there's any other school out there in the world that really offer what Academy offers.
So there you go. This is how to contact us. I hope after you've seen this presentation, I answer some questions, you'll decide to become part of this ever-growing community of artists and designers. So that's it for me. Stavroula, we're ready to take questions, and
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Such a brilliant presentation, very visual, and it's great to hear from the students themselves. Really helps paint a picture of what you guys do there. So let's get into the questions. Okay, to start off, there is a question about internships. Can I do internships alongside a fashion degree?
Yes, is the answer. And internships, we do ask that you wait till you get into your upper division classes to do internships, because we want you to make the best possible impression in the companies that you're going to work for. But yes, all of our students, we even have classes that you can take an internship class and get credit for it. So internships are not a problem. And like you saw, we have companies all around the academy and really all over the world that are looking at our students for fresh ideas.
Amazing. Thank you. We have a question about scholarships. Do you have any scholarships on offer for international students?
We do have scholarships available. It changes from semester to semester. So what you need to do is you need to go to that link or make that phone call. And you don't have to pay for the call. We'll call you back. But the point is the international admissions specialist will tell you what's available and guide you through the whole process. We know it can be complicated. There's just a lot of pieces, especially for international students. So we have a team of admissions reps who are just about international students. We call them international specialists, and they will tell you what's available and help you figure out when you should participate.
Thank you. Next question. How easy is it to find accommodation in San Francisco?
Well, it's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why we have the housing. We will guarantee you housing. We have it available. We have dormitory. We have like single rooms. We have even apartments. So of course, they all have different prices, but again, your international admissions specialist can help you find the right place to live. I really recommend everybody be in our housing for at least the first year, so you can get to know the city, figure out where you want to be, what works for you. And like we have the shuttles, those shuttles are great. I mean, being picked up right outside your door. I wish somebody would. It's a great idea. Pick me up, take me to work, bring me home. That's a wonderful, wonderful. And you can go back and forth as many times as you want in the course of a day. You just show your badge, your ID.
Oh, amazing. And can I ask, how early should students be looking for accommodations when they're applying?
We have several different options for you. Don't wait till the week before school starts. I would try to apply a couple months. You should, for international, actually, you should apply 2 to 3 months ahead of time at the minimum, because you got to get your visa. You've got to do all these different steps so that you can come to the US. If you want to just take classes online starting out, it's more flexible. But if you want to come to San Francisco and be part of this dynamic community in person, then you need to give us more time to help you get everything you need to make that possible.
Actually, that follows on to another question that we have. So are the classes mainly online, or are they both in person too? I think you mentioned they are.
They are both. And we started doing it over 20 years ago. So we've refined these classes. You won't find them anywhere else. It's our own. These are our own classes. We built them. We put the information into them. We're constantly tweaking them, making them more current. And you have the same people, those same professional artists teaching the classes online as on site.
Amazing. And we have another question here about the number of classes in a week and how much is the study load from the beginning to the end of the term.
Well, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to take you from wherever you're at in this moment into being a professional who's competitive in the work world. So our classes are 3 or 6 hours long, depending on whether it's a studio class or a lecture demo class. And by that I mean our 3-hour classes, the instructor comes in, lectures about something, does a demonstration, and then asks you to put your work up from the week before, and then critiques the work. So it's all hands-on practical application, but in your studio classes, you have the lecture, you have the demonstration, you have the critique, and then you have time to work in class where the professor comes around and looks at your work and makes recommendations and tries to help you if you're having a problem with something. it's all about learning to see differently. So they're going to show you what you're missing. You will come out of it a different person, and it takes time and it takes practice. But we see it happen. We see the success people are having over and over and over. So we can do it for you as well.
Amazing. And how long can I stay in the USA after my studies to work?
3 years if you have the STEM. That's after you graduate. So the first year was what we call OPT, or optional practical training. That's where you are apprenticing. Basically, you're taking your skills, you're going to a company, and then you're learning from the people around you and you're growing. But if you're in a STEM program, and I think I told you there are 15 different majors that have the STEM opportunity, then you can work for up to 2 more years with your F1 visa and stay in the US.
Awesome, thank you. And the next question, okay. Can I have any meetings with the Academy members for mentoring advice?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think they're discussing or referring to the image of the mentees that you have who work at the Academy.
Yeah, so the instructors are there but in the classes. Now, obviously, they aren't full-time faculty. We do have some full-time faculty, but a lot of our faculty are working other places. So they will be available to you in the class, and they do have office hours. And then the directors will also mentor you. They're full-time. So in terms of mentoring, we do that constantly. It's in every classroom, and it's your whole experience at the Academy. And we even have we have what's called a mentoring program with fellow students. Students who are in their upper division classes will come and, if you reach out to them, you say, I'm having trouble with this, they'll make recommendations and try to help you too.
Amazing. And there's questions about courses here. Do you have a course for stop motion?
Yes. We have not
Perfect.
only one course, we have several courses, and we have a lab as well.
Amazing. And is there a photography portfolio required?
No, there's no portfolio required. If you have one, when you're working with your international admissions specialist, let them know. And they'll ask you probably to submit it digitally. And then they will take it to the department. The department will look at the work and make recommendations as to where you should be placed in the program.
Thank you. And another question about the degree. Will I be able to do a dual degree or only one at a time?
Yes, some of our majors, we do have some double majors, but mostly it's a single major. And the reason is because we want you to have that competitive portfolio. And it's work. I want to tell you, most of our students, they feel like they just get to the end of their program and now they're off and running and they wish it went longer. So it takes a while though. If you've done art and design in the past, you might be able to take on a new major and also have what we would call like electives or by advisement classes that you could take in other areas. But double majors are tough because you have to be professional in 2 areas, not just one.
Of course. And can I work alongside my degree?
Can you, what is it?
Can I work alongside my degree? How many hours are allowed?
Okay, so if there's a couple ways you can work in the US, but the first year you can't. In the first year, you have to just take classes. You're coming on an F1 visa, that's a student visa. That's not really a work visa. After that, you can take some class, you can work part-time if the work is related to your major. So for example, I'm a fashion design student. Maybe I can work in retail in a fashion store, like a department store. But I can only work part-time and it has to be related to what I'm doing. When I graduate, Then I have the opportunity to work full-time again, it has to be in an area that's related to what you graduated in.
Understandable. Are there social clubs to meet other international students? I believe you touched on this.
Yes, we have all kinds of clubs. And if you come to the academy and you decide, I want to create my own club, I don't know, I love to play chess and I want to have a chess club, we can make that happen for you. We can help you organize that.
Amazing. And the last question that we have here is about applications. How easy is it to stand out when applying, and what is the advice for a successful application?
Do it early, get to know your admissions rep. Their specialists will help you make sure you've got everything you need and that your transition is easy. And I feel very strongly about this. Art designers are usually not really well organized. Maybe you are, and I don't mean to put you down or anything, but artists are typically, they're into the big ideas. They're into their creativity. They use a different side of the brain to work in the world. We don't want the application process to turn you off. We don't want a wonderful artist or designer to feel like this isn't for me because of the application process. So we make it as simple as possible. And like I said, if you get in touch with the admissions people, the international specialists, they work with people just like you all the time from all over the world. They'll be very happy to help you, walk you through the process and make sure you're going to be surprised. It's going to be really easy. And that's what we want. We want you to come. We want you to get involved. We want you to become part of our community, part of the family. And we don't want to turn you off because of the paperwork that it took to apply.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sue, for your information. All the information is on the screen at the moment. So if you do want to get in touch with further questions, feel free. We will be in touch very soon. And honestly, if you do watch this on the recording, we also will welcome all of your questions post webinar. Sue, is there any last words you would like to give the students?
I just want to say, and I said this at the beginning, I'll say it again. There are a lot of art schools all over the world. I've visited many of them myself. And the Academy is unique because yes, we want you to be creative. We want you to have, we want to see what your ideas are and what you can make. But we want to also teach you the hands-on skills you need to put those ideas out and get a job in that field. So we're about jobs. We're about getting you the portfolio. If you're looking at other schools and they aren't talking about a portfolio, question whether you want to go there, unless you don't have to work when you get out. Most of our parents would say, I expect my son or daughter to be able to support themselves when they get out of school. So if you want to do art and design and you want to assure your parents, I'm going to get a good job and I'm going to make enough money that you don't have to worry about that, check us out. Come to the Academy of Art. That's how we're different. And we've been successful year after year after year. In fact, as you heard from those students, many of them are saying, if I hadn't come here, I don't know what would have happened. It would have been a disaster. But I came to the Academy and it's all good. So check us out. Take the next step. We want to get to know you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for everybody who has attended today. Thank you for the questions, and thank you to our host, Academy of Art University. We will be back next week with a few more webinars, but until then, good evening, and we will be in touch soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.